Last week, long before the crash, I signed an executive order restoring our highest standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. About a week ago, almost upon entering office, I signed something last week that was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers and others, by the way. Then my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. You have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air travel. I'll have more to say about that. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was in January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, I mean, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened, because of the stress, where you have many, many planes coming into one target, and you need a very special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it. Targeted disabilities are those disabilities that the federal government, as a matter of policy, has identified for special emphasis in recruitment and hiring. The FAA's website states they include hearing, vision, missing extremities, partial paralysis, complete paralysis, epilepsy, severe intellectual disability, psychiatric disability, and dwarfism all qualify for the position of a controller of airplanes pouring into our country, pouring into a little spot, a little dot on the map, a little runway. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan. Think of that. The initiative is part of the FAA's diversity and inclusion hiring plan, which says diversity is integral to achieving FAA's mission of ensuring safe and efficient travel. I don't think so. I think it's just the opposite. The FAA website shows that the agency's guidance on diversity hiring were last updated on March 23rd of 22. They wanted to make it even more so. And then I came in, and I assume maybe this is the...
I want to do a lesson on this current situation with this. I want to do another lesson on this D.E.I. stuff. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. In this video, I'm going to just simply entitle it Donald Trump and the D.E.I. And the only reason I'm calling it that is because that's just what we're going to discuss now. This current situation with this plane crash, right? And then Trump is now speaking on, he spoke on today, you know, of the D.E.I. and this plane crash and different stuff. And I would have to say, and like I did a lesson yesterday on this D.E.I. stuff, right? The video was entitled D.E.I. has ended. Don't crash out. And I had some very candid comments in that I was given. And I still feel that same way. We as the Israelites, you got to not be so damn reactionary. And you can't let the media paint a narrative for you. Soon as the first mention of this DEI stuff, which stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion, I believe, if I'm saying it right. As soon as they mentioned that stuff, now all these many years, I never really even heard that much about that. Now all of a sudden, everywhere you go, you're hearing about it, and these so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, minorities are crashing out over it. You getting all extra upset. But there's another side to it. It ain't all based upon color. The thing really, for the most part. Now I won't say all the way through, because we know at the end of the day there's always, fine print when it comes to this stuff. But you have to realize when it comes to that diversity shit and that equity and inclusion, what have they done? They took positions and gave them to people based upon their sexual orientation, because they included that with color, sexual orientation, or damn handicaps and mental status, which is fucking insane when you think about it. And I'm gonna say, we don't agree with everything Donald Trump says, but right is right and wrong is wrong, and this country is fucked up. And a lot of you Israelites have that in your minds. The same way you pester us about everybody being included in the gospel, everybody being able to be saved by the Lord love everybody. No, he doesn't. The Most High discriminates. We're going to show you that in the scriptures. Certain people can't serve the Lord. Certain disabilities and different things that happen to you push you at a disadvantage. And when it comes to these damn jobs, just like he was talking about, and you should go back and listen to that again, what he said. The FAA was telling motherfuckers that they wanted you to pay special attention or take consideration to motherfuckers with mental disabilities, dwarfism, shorten, missing limbs, all kind of shit. So they telling you that just because somebody is mentally incompetent, right, emotionally unstable, or missing limbs, or of a goddamn midget, doesn't mean they can't do this job. Well, that's complete bullshit. There's certain jobs that a midget should not do. There's certain jobs that a motherfucker with mental, or whether, he's mental, he got emotional problems, or if you're morbidly obese, there's certain jobs that you cannot goddamn have. When it comes to preaching the gospel, there's certain things that the Most High doesn't allow when it comes to preaching his word. And it's the same, and this brought this to my mind. I'm going to read a scripture, it came back to my mind because we used to chuckle about this scripture sometimes. I think me and Elder Yashawama, way back when they had Google Hangouts, we laughed about this scripture, certain scriptures that we read. And I'm going to read it to you now. Damn it, I just lost it, but I'm going to bring it back up. And Donald Trump didn't say nothing wrong. I mean, it was very intelligent and insightful what he said. I'm not a Trump fan. I ain't on the Trump bandwagon. We know this dude is wicked. He's goddamn Nero in the reincarnation. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. And this is dead on the money. You can't get so messed up over it. Now, on the other end of that, is there some shit in the DEI that could benefit us? I'm sure there is. But I agree with the fact that a certain job, a dangerous ass job like air traffic control, should not be done except by certain people. And I'm fine with that. Other jobs the same way. Right? It's messed up when you want to go to Walmart these many years, and because Walmart don't discriminate in their hiring practices, I gotta go in there and look at a dude that's clearly a guy, but this nigga got a dress on, or he got on, he's a tranny. I don't want to have to go into a store and shop where a fucking tranny is working. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go somewhere and I'm in a hurry and this motherfucker weighs 500 pounds, and because he's so big and he needed a job, they hired him because they didn't want to discriminate. Now I gotta be late. No, I don't want to do it, man. This fucking country is fucked up. The way you people think is fucked up, man. You got to get right. Certain jobs, only certain people need to have it. Now, in every case, that ain't the situation. A midget can sit behind a desk and run a computer. He can do that, right? But a midget can't be getting me, I need something out of Walmart that's high up. Somebody got to reach it, and he can't get it for me. I don't want him working there or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. Anyway, let's get the scripture now. This is Leviticus 21, verse 16. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, saying, Whosoever he be of thy seed and their generations that hath any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his God. Are you hearing it? Let's read some. For whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man, or a lame, or he that hath a flat nose, or anything superfluous, or a man that is broken-footed, or broken-handed, or crook-back, or a dwarf, or that hath a blemish in his eye, or be scurvy, or scabbed, or hath his stones broken. No man that hath the blemish of the seed of Aaron the priest shall come nigh to offer the offerings of the Lord made by fire. He hath the blemish, he shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his God. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy. You see? Only he shall not go in unto the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he hath a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuaries. For I, the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, do sanctify them. And there's nothing wrong with that. And this could be because I ain't gonna sit here and act like I know the real reason, all the reason why the Lord said this. It could be just the fact just because of their obvious blemishes, but obviously it's that, but it also could be the fact that the Most High knows what particular soul he put them blemishes on and why they were born that way, and that could be the reason why too he said don't let them offer the bread. Now let's read this in the NLT. That's perfectly right there. It's in the scriptures. Look at this. Leviticus 21:17. Give the following instructions to Aaron and all future generations. None of your descendants who has any defect will qualify to offer food to his God. Oh, come on, the Lord can't do that. That ain't fair. He need to have some diversity, some equity, some inclusion. No, the Lord telling you, the supreme being is saying, because you're like this, you can't do this. No one who has a defect qualifies, whether he is blind, lame, disfigured, disformed, or has a broken foot or arm, or is hunchbacked, or dwarfed, or has a defective eye, or skin sores, or scabs, or damaged testicles. No descendant of Aaron who has a defect may approach the altar to present special gifts to the Lord. Since he has a defect, he may not approach the altar to offer food to his God. He may eat from the food offered to the Most High, including the holy offerings and the most holy offerings. Yet because of his physical defect, he may not enter the room behind the inner curtain or approach the altar, for this would defile my holy places. I am the Lord who makes them holy. See? So the Most High did say they still Israelites. They included, even though they fucked up. He didn't say it like that. Forgive me. Even though they have these defects, they still included, but they can't do this job. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm just using that as an example. Okay? So just because people have some disabilities or some problems, certain jobs they cannot do. That D.E.I. was wicked on some level. And it still is. When you push that all-inclusive shit all on people, then that's forcing me to do shit I don't want to have to do. I don't want to get in the car and ride in an Uber with a motherfucker that's 500 pounds trying to drive, breathing all heavy, or that's funky. He got a disability of some sort, but yet, he on the job and I got to just put up with it. No, man. That's why they established disability payments for individuals. So that way they don't have to be out among people. Every person can't get disability. I can't get a disability paycheck. But the people that are disabled, they can get them. Neither do people that are disabled need to do the job that I do, or is qualified to do the job I do. Simply for the fact, man, let me give you a couple of situations. I remember way back, and this just came to my mind. Oh, I was so heated. So one time, way back, this was over 20, maybe 30 years ago. I'm living in Virginia. I'm working at a record store. I'm the manager of the store, right? The boss lady, which the owners of the company was Jewish people. Never forget it. Real nice folks, the Rosenfelds, right? And really, well, that's neither here nor there. But they was real nice. They was real good to us. They paid us good and all that. But the music we sold was all black music. Anyway, I'm the manager of the store. One day, Miss Glickman, I'll call her. That was her name. But we used to call her something else. She calls me and says, well, just to get to the point of it all, she wound up hiring a little guy for a summer job who was in a wheelchair. And I never forget it. The dude's name was Solomon. And he was pretty all right dude. He was pretty cool or whatever, right? Now, he could do that job because he was just on the sales floor selling music, rolling around in his wheelchair, this, that, and the other, which was fine. He did that. But one day, Solomon had to go to the bathroom. He went in, and we only had one bathroom in the back. It wasn't for customers, but it's just for employees. So Solomon went to the bathroom one day. He had to poop. Do you know that Solomon went and pooped in the toilet? And because he's in a wheelchair, when he got done pooping, instead of being able to lift himself off the toilet, he went across the toilet and smeared poop all over the toilet. And I had to clean it up. I never thought about that till just now. I had to clean it up. And now you talking about mad? Listen, I understand that things happen to individuals and all of that, but you have not seen mad until you have to go clean up poop after another grown man. And that's just one situation. There's been another situation where I was going to this Walmart, and this guy in a wheelchair worked in the Walmart, and he was a cashier. This was before self-checkout. And this dude had the nerve to be working in Walmart with one of them little hands in a wheelchair, and this nigga had the nerve to be gay on top of it. Now, that's something right there that I don't want to deal with, man. And that's not cruel, because people in wheelchairs, they need to be taken care of. They need to have disability payments. They don't need to be, doing what everybody else does. And it's the same thing, and forgive me for the stories or whatever, but it's the same thing when it comes to the Lord. Now, the Most High didn't make everybody the same. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to shut it down. This is and everybody got a purpose. Ecclesiastes 33 and verse 7. Those that, just like with us in the truth, the gospel and salvation is for the Israelites. It ain't for the Edomites. The Edomites wasn't put here for that. The sooner you realize that the Most High even discriminates and that he, chooses one above another, the better off you're going to be. Okay? The better off you're going to be. Now, this is Ecclesiastes 33 and verse 7. And this is what it says. Why does one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. You got your regular special days, and you got your regular days. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge the Lord hath divided them, and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them hath he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low, and turned out their places. As in the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so is man in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liketh him best. Everybody different. The Most High made some men a certain way, and some of them he made another way. When it says some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them hath he sanctified and set near himself, that's the Israelites. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low, and turned out their places, that's your Edomites. Okay? As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them that liketh him best. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. The Most High has diversity, right? Everything is, was made with a purpose. Every person is not made to do everything. Everything is not for everybody. I actually had that scripture pulled up and I didn't read it. This is Ecclesiastes 37:28. It says, for all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. And that's a Elder Yashawama Deluxe, because he read that a lot. So, hey, just to get, to put the idea out there, don't be so damn reactionary. You got to understand on a deeper level what's being said, what's being done. Now, is some of this stuff put there to make people react and get them upset? Sure it is. But inside of that, you can see, and you got to understand the ways of the Lord, man. Everything ain't made for everybody. Right? And I'm not saying nothing against handicapped people or any other disability. I'm not saying nothing against you. But I understand and realize that you don't need to do everything everybody else does. Neither can we do what you do. Now, going back to dude Solomon, I just had a thought of it. It was fucked up, the fact that toilet was not enabled. It wasn't. It didn't have a ramp in that bathroom. It was a very long time ago. So there wasn't no ramp in there, and it wasn't wheelchair accessible. So that was the company's fault. But they should have never hired the guy. And he was just a fucking kid at the time. He was like 17 years old or something, man. I liked him fine, but that right there, that kind of spoiled our relationship. I'm just being honest. So hey, look at the spirituality of all of this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the lesson down. Lord will now bring something else out later on. All praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.